In the swirling dust of the Eurasian steppes, where the wind howls like a battle cry, a horde of fierce warriors thunders forth on steeds as swift as arrows and tough as the earth itself. These are the Magyars, nomads forged in fire, their horses not mere mounts, but extensions of their souls, carrying them to conquer kingdoms and carve a nation from the heart of Europe. But what secrets powered these equine warriors, breeding legends that echoed through centuries of cavalry charges, royal studs, and unyielding spirit? This isn't a sterile timeline. It's a pulse-pounding narrative of nomadic hordes, legendary conquests, royal breeding programs, and the horses that charged through history's bloodiest fields to shape a nation's soul. We'll trace their origins in the endless grasslands, their pivotal role in forging Hungary, the breeds that emerge from the ashes of war, and their enduring legacy in the modern world. To ignite this journey, we must venture to the cradle of the Magyars, the vast, unforgiving Eurasian steppes, stretching from the Ural Mountains to the edges of Siberia around the 9th century AD. Picture a landscape of golden grasses bending under relentless winds, dotted with nomadic tents and herds of hardy horses grazing under watchful eyes. The Magyars, or Hungarians as they'd become known, were a Fian-Ugaric people with Turkic influences, descendants of ancient steppe tribes like the Scythians, Huns, and Avars. Their name derives from on augur, meaning 10 arrows or 10 tribes, symbolizing their confederation of clans united under chieftains. Life was nomadic, dictated by the seasons and the search for pasture, but it was their profound bond with horses that elevated them from survivors to conquerors. Horses weren't luxuries for the Magyars, they were lifelines. Archaeological digs in ancient Magyar graves reveal skeletons buried with their mounts, saddles, stirrups, and bows, testaments to a culture where horse and rider were inseparable. These early horses were no pampered thoroughbreds, but rugged steppe breeds, medium-sized, around 13 to 14 hands, with thick coats to withstand brutal winters, strong hooves for traversing rocky terrain, and an endurance that allowed them to gallop for miles without tiring. Influenced by the wild Przewalski's horse and eastern breeds like the Akhal-Tech ancestors, they were wiry, agile, and intelligent, capable of quick turns and sustained speed. Magyars bred them selectively, favoring bays, chestnuts, and blacks with white markings, valuing stamina over size. A warrior's horse was his wealth, his weapon, his escape, fed on grass and mare's milk, trained from foalhood to respond to subtle leg cues and whistles. This equine prowess fueled the Magyars' military might. As horse archers par excellence, they mastered the art of mounted warfare, a legacy from steppe predecessors like Attila's Huns. Imagine a young Magyar boy, barely walking, hoisted onto a pony's back to learn balance, growing into a rider who could loose arrows at full gallop, twisting backward in the saddle, a technique that terrified European foes. Their saddles, high-pommeled with stirrups, an innovation possibly borrowed from Avars, allowed stability for archery and melee. Horseshoes protected hooves on long raids, and bit designs ensured control without cruelty. By the late 800s, under leaders like Almos and his son Arpid, the Magyars were a formidable force, raiding from the Volga River westward, their hordes swelling to tens of thousands. The turning point came in the late 9th century, the Great Migration, or Honfoglalas, the land-taking. Driven by Pekineg pressures from the east and lured by tales of fertile European lands, Arpad led 7 tribes across the Carpathian Mountains in 895 AD. The journey was epic, fording rivers, navigating passes, all on horseback with wagons trailing. Legends speak of Arpad's white stallion leading the way, a symbol of divine favor. Upon entering the Carpathian Plain, a verdant plain ringed by mountains, now modern Hungary, the Magyars unleashed a storm of conquest. Their horses, adapted to steppe warfare, gave them mobility unmatched by the settled Slavs, Franks, and Bulgarians. In lightning raids, Magyar Hike cavalry would feign retreat, luring enemies into ambushes where volleys of arrows decimated ranks. At the Battle of Brenta in 899, they routed Italian forces, their horses outpacing heavy knights. For decades, Europe trembled at the Magyar menace, with raids reaching as far as Spain and Italy, plundering monasteries and towns. But conquest demanded adaptation. The basin's forests and rivers challenged steppe tactics, so Magyars integrated local horses, sturdier breeds from Pannonia's Roman remnants, infusing their stock with height and strength. By the 10th century, under King Stephen I, Hungary Christianized and settled, but the war horse remained central. Stephen's armies blended light cavalry with emerging heavy knights, horses now bred for armor-bearing. Graves from this era show larger mounts, up to 15 hands, with broader chests and powerful haunches, precursors to later breeds. As Hungary rose as a medieval powerhouse, the warhorse evolved amid ceaseless conflicts. The 13th century brought catastrophe, the Mongol invasion of 1241 under Batu Khan. The Mongols, kin in steppe style but superior in numbers and siege tech, overwhelmed initial Hungarian defenses. King Bela IV's light cavalry, echoing Magyar roots, clashed with Mongol horse archers at the Battle of Mohi, where rivers of blood flowed and horses screamed amid arrow storms. Hungary lost, with estimates of 40,000 dead, but Bela escaped on a swift steed, regrouping to fortify stone castles. Post-invasion, Bela reformed the army, importing Cumans, steppe allies, and their hardy horses, blending with local stock for resilience. This era birthed a new cavalry ethos, the Hungarian cavalman, armored yet mobile, on horses that could charge or skirmish. The Renaissance amplified Hungary's equine legacy. Under King Matthias Corvinus, 1458 to 1490, the Black Army featured elite cavalry on imported Italian and Turkish breeds crossed with natives. Matthias established royal studs, like at Mezőhős, founded later but inspired by his vision, breeding for war. Horses, now taller with elegant necks and fiery temperaments, powered campaigns against Ottomans and Habsburgs. The Ottoman Wars, 15th to 17th centuries, forged the hussar, a light cavalryman derived from hussar, meaning 1 in 20, from levies, famed for speed and saber charges. Hussari rode compact, agile horses, bays and grays with endurance for hit-and-run tactics. Their horses, influenced by Turkish Akaltek and Arabian blood from Ottoman captures, were light-boned yet tough, covering 50 miles a day. At the Battle of Vienna in 1683, Hungarian hussars flanked Ottoman lines, their horses leaping trenches in a whirlwind of dust and steel. This period crystallized iconic Hungarian breeds. In 1784, Emperor Joseph II founded the Mezőhős stud in southern Hungary, a sprawling estate of pastures and stables, to breed military horses. Here, the Nonius emerged. Named after its Anglo-Norman sire Nonius, born 1810, captured from France, crossed with local mares. Dark bay or black, muscular at 16 hands, with a calm yet powerful gait, Nonius horses excelled as artillery pullers and cavalry mounts, strong enough for charges, versatile for harness. Nearby, the Bobna stud, 1789, specialized in Arabians, birthing the Shagia Arabian. Pure Arabian lines refined for height, 15 to 16 hands, and bone, named after sire Shagia, 1830. These greys with dished faces and high tails powered hussar regiments, their stamina legendary in desert-like campaigns. Other breeds flourished. The Gidron, an Anglo-Arabian chestnut from Mezőhős, sired Gidron Sr. 1816, fiery and athletic for jumping charges. The Furioso North Star, blending English thoroughbred Furioso 36 and North Star 44 for elegant carriage horses that doubled as riders. And the Kisper Felver, a half-thoroughbred for speed and reconnaissance. Even the hardy Hukul pony from the Carpathians traced to Magyar stock, small, 13 hands, sure-footed for mountain warfare, with zebra stripes evoking ancient roots. Lipizaners, although Austrian-associated, were bred at Fogaras in Transylvania, Hungarian territory, with their white coats and airs above ground honed for parade and battle. The 19th century saw Hungarian horses shine in Europe's wars. In the 1848 revolution against Habsburgs, Louis Kossuth's forces rode Nonius and Gidron mounts in daring charges, their manes flying like banners of freedom. Napoleonic Wars exported hussars and their horses across continents, influencing breeds like the American quarter horse via escaped stock. But industrialization threatened, railways replaced horse transport, and by 1900, studs focused on agriculture. World wars ravaged herds, Nonius numbers plummeted as horses were drafted for artillery, but post-World War II communist nationalization preserved studs like Mesohoas, now UNESCO candidates. Tragedies birthed legends. Take Overdose, the Budapest Bullet, 2005 to 2015, a modern thoroughbred echoing Magyar speed, unbeaten in 14 races before injury. Or Kinchem, 1874 to 1887, the invincible mare from Kispur stud, thoroughbred with Hungarian blood, winning 54 races, a world record, her heart twice normal size, symbolizing unyielding spirit. Today, Hungarian war horses' legacy gallops on. Mesohelyes and Babelnot host breed shows, where Nonius teams pull carriages in thunderous displays, Shagyas excel in endurance rides winning Tevis Cups, and Gidrons dazzle in eventing. The Hungarian sport horse, a modern warm-blood blend, competes globally, while traditional archery on horseback revives Magyar arts at festivals like the Kurultai. With over 10,000 registered in breeds like Nonius, endangered but rebounding, they embody resilience. Genetic programs combat inbreeding, preserving steppe fire. The Hungarian warhorse mirrors the Magyars' journey. From nomadic raiders to cultured guardians, horses propelled a people to greatness, teaching us that true power lies in harmony between human will and equine heart. From Arpad's migration to modern arenas, their story is Hungary's heartbeat. Thank you for charging through this powerful epic with me. If it ignited your passion, subscribe to Living Horse for more historical rides, and comment, what's your favorite Hungarian breed or Magyar legend?